Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 8th, 2014, 9 o'clock, and we're in the Senator hearing room for our weekly Board of Commissioner meeting. We start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We start usually with public comment. No one has signed up to speak this morning, so we'll move right to the consent calendar. I think Commissioner Camp.
Mr. Chair, I'll move the consent calendar. First, the Board of Commissioners approve a resolution supporting payment in lieu of tax, EILT. Business Services, notice of a bid award to First Cascade Precision One Coatings for $131,950 for the Marion County Jail exterior wall coating Phase 2. Notice of a bid award to Hydrotemp Mechanical for $189,900 for the Marion County Jail HVAC project. District Attorney, under the District Attorney, approve an order designating the Chief Administrative Officer to sign 2 Department of Justice Victims of Crime Act 2014 competitive and non-competitive intergovernmental grant award agreements for general victim assistance. A, Amendment 1 to the Department of Justice Victims of Crime Act 2014 non-competitive intergovernmental grant award agreement extending through September 30th, 2015 in the amount of $97,632. And B, Department of Justice Victims of Crime 2014 competitive intergovernmental grant award agreement from October 1st, 2014 through September 30th, 2016 in the amount of $102,520.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar this morning. Any further discussion? Actually, I did have just one little comment that I thought was interesting looking through. It has to do with PILT payments. And PILT payments are monies that the federal government pays kind of in lieu of property taxes. And there's a form or a brochure, I don't know what you'd call it, but a paper from NACO, National Association of Counties. We'll get $83,000 in Marion County, but then it says that property tax generated per taxable acre in the county is $90.10. And the PILT amount comes, instead of paying property taxes, at 36 cents an acre. So, and they argue about that quite a bit. It's almost insignificant for the amount of services that the counties provide for the federal lands, but at least it's something. But 36 cents versus $90, it's not very substantial. Anything else? Call a question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. All right, first action item this morning is under Community Services. We consider approval of an order appointing Renata Wakeley to the Economic Development Advisory Board for a term ending January 31st, 2016. I see Tammy Getch and Renata. Go ahead, Tammy.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Tamara Getch. I'm the Director of Marion County Community Services Department. We're here today to talk about a great opportunity to bring another vital and important member onto the Economic Development Advisory Board, which supports the efforts of the county's economic development interests. I have joined with me Renata this morning, and just know that she, under her work with Council of Governments, is going to help bring, I've already seen her in action, and that she's going to bring a wealth of information to the board and is going to be a great asset. So I just wanted to introduce you to her and give her an opportunity to talk about this opportunity and a little bit about what COG does.
Hi, good morning. Renata Wakeley, Mid-Willamette Council of Governments. The Mid-Willamette Council of Governments serves our 3 counties, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill. We're a member services organization. We have over 40 members, including Marion County. We are also tasked with serving as the economic development district for our region, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill County. The economic development district serves to set regional priorities for our three-county region, working through our Mid-Willamette Partnership Board. So we're out asking our communities what their needs are and how we can better assist them and help them prioritize projects to serve not only residents but businesses in the area. At the Council of Governments, I was a previous senior planner, and in that role, I served 4 member cities, meeting with the jurisdictions and representing them in land use planning services, but also meeting with local developers and interests in the city. So I hope to maintain that role and being out in the community very often. You will probably know Ray Teasley and Suzanne Duffner previously served as Community Development Director for the COG and Economic Development District.
All right. Questions or comments?
Well, I had a chance to see Renata in action also at the last meeting, and I agree with you that there's going to be a great opportunity for the Economic Development Advisory Board of Marion County to benefit from her experience and her knowledge. And I'm glad that you brought up the Economic Development District, because that's really critical for us as Marion County, too, to make sure that our priorities are included in that planning document. And I've told this story a million times, but I had a situation a few years ago where we went to Washington, D.C., and had a couple projects that we wanted to talk to the EDA about, the Economic Development Administration. And she said, well, is it in your plan? What's your district? And I had not ever seen the plan, and I had no idea what the district was, and I'd been a county commissioner for 10 years. So we had a work session. We actually brought COG over, and one of the things that I have hoped is that we could have a tighter relationship in terms of bringing that plan over to the Board of Commissioners, making sure that our priorities are there. So I think having Renata on the Economic Development Advisory Board will help with that alignment. So I really appreciate your willingness to serve. So thank you.
And we do provide annual reports, and I'll make a note to submit that to the county commissioners so you see that report as well. So it's a 5-year plan, and then we have annual reports. And I don't have the next partnership board meeting scheduled, but we'll send an invite.
Well, I'd like you to actually come over and present it, not just
Can
send
do.
it, because what happens when it gets sent is we have a stack of things that we get that's a mile high, and it doesn't get the attention that it deserves. So,
Can do.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, just one comment. I've known Renata for a while now through COG, and she went from kind of a backroom person to just about involved in everything there. So it's a good job, and I think she'll be a welcome addition to you and EDAB. And
Yeah, thanks, Renata, for your, just the interaction that I've had with you, even like a couple weeks ago up at Detroit and on a Friday night, being out there listening to the people, and appreciate your service to Marion County and to the citizens throughout. So look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
all right, I think it's time for a motion.
All right, well, Mr. Chair, I would move approval of an order appointing Renata Wakeley to the Economic Development Advisory Board for a term ending January 31st, 2016.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve appointing Renata Wakeley to the Economic Development Advisory Board. Any further discussion? Don't hear any. All in favor then say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes, and thank you, Renata. Thanks for coming
See you
too.
later today.
Tammy, you're going to be the central figure in all 3 of these items this morning.
Yes.
The next one is we approve a order appointing Alan Pollock to the Marion County Children and Families Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2018. So go ahead again, Tammy.
Thank you. Again, Chair, Commissioners, we have another great opportunity, this time for the Children and Families Commission. This has been a long-standing organization group that has supported the interests of children, families, and communities for over the last 20 years. And across those years, transportation has been a critical issue that has kind of plagued many of our barriers. And of late, the Commission has designed its meeting structure to meet for the next 9 months to really look at barriers that exist that inhibit I guess, thriving kids, families, and communities, and transportation is at the crux of many of those issues. And so we've worked with Alan. He has also stepped up in working on task force in the past and helping us to better understand transportation, limitations, et cetera. We have community leaders that are on the commission currently who are really wanting to look at transportation and what they can do to help remove barriers. So I excitingly bring forward Alan to you for your consideration to serve on the commission, but I'll let you talk a little bit more about chariots and your role in transportation.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Alan Pollack, the General Manager for Salem Kaiser Transit, who provides the chariot service within the urban growth boundary of the cities of Salem and Kaiser, and we also administer the rural transportation in Marion County, better known as CARTS, the Chemeketa Area Regional Transportation System. In addition to that, in Marion County, we also operate a transportation options program to help those people where the bus is not the solution to either carpool, vanpool, or bike or pedestrian opportunities. And as you heard, transportation is in this region a significant barrier because of the limited service that we provide for quality of life issues for children and families. And I do believe it's time to talk about that as a barrier and how we can look for some solutions to provide that. So I'm excited to be a part of that conversation with the Commission.
Great. All right. Questions or comments? Go ahead.
So what a great idea. How long have we had this commission and we haven't had someone with transportation expertise on it?
Yes.
So this is great. And Alan, obviously, you've got a wealth of knowledge on this, and so pleased that you're willing to step forward. We talked in the last item about economic development plans, but we've also done planning around children and families for 20 plus years. And in a past life, I was involved pretty heavily in doing that planning, and transportation popped up as a high need virtually every single time we did surveys or took a look at what the gaps were and that type of thing. So I think this is a great addition to the commission, so thank you very much.
All right.
Agreed. Good. Thank you.
I
Mr.
think
Chair,
we're ready, yeah.
Yeah, I'll move approval of an order appointing Alan Pollack to the Marion County Children and Families Commission, the term ending June 30th, 2018.
Second.
All right, it's moved and second, approving an order appointing Alan Pollack to Marion County Children and Families Commission. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Alan, thanks for coming, and thanks for your willingness to help
Certainly.
Marion County.
Thanks.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
The next item is consider approval of an order adopting findings and setting the final public hearing for November 12th, 2014 for the formation of a Marion County Extension and 4-H Service District. Again, Tamara Getch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, last week, October 1st, we had our first public hearing for the formation of the Marion County Extension and 4-H Service District. During that hearing, staff provided a backdrop of the process that led to the public hearing of last week, and the Board of Commissioners also heard testimony during that hearing. The board then took that information, considered those findings that were provided. We also, so you guys took that input, considered that, and then at the board's direction, staff worked with legal counsel in the creation of the order that is before you today. And in that order, it asked the board to consider the criteria outlined in ORS 198.805 and 199.462. The order also asks the board to set the second public hearing for the date of November 12th. This would, if set, would be the final public hearing for this particular part of the process.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. Any other questions?
Yes, well, a comment and a question. So maybe the question and then the comment. So the question is that the topic of the first hearing was about, part of it was about the actual composition of the boundary, right? That all the cities are in it. Is there, by statute, a specific focus for the second hearing that, that we will have? And kind of why do we have to have two hearings? Maybe just kind of lay that out.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, the second public hearing is required to basically set the matter forward to an election. This one includes a tax base, so we automatically have to send it to an election. But at that time, if there has been, that's basically a formality in this instance for the second public hearing. But it does move it forward, and it will require by statute to hold these two public hearings. In other situations where maybe a tax base wasn't involved, like adding a service to a county service district, we did that with Brooks. It used to be just sewer, we added water. If between the first public hearing and the second public hearing, a certain number of electors in the district had requested that it be sent to an election, and I believe it's 100 or a certain percentage, then the board would have to send that forward to the next available election. If the required number had not been received, then the board could go ahead and approve it final on the second public hearing. So this one, because it involves a tax base, it's just a matter of finalizing it and moving it forward, which would be to the May 2015 election.
Well, I just had a little question. Would there be anything that we would expect to hear or would have any effect, or this is more like formality, as you said, to just let people know it's coming, that sort of thing? What happens other than the formality of it? Anything?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Because it is a public hearing, people could come and testify. Like I said, it'd be testifying about it going to an election. That's really the substance of it, because at your first public hearing, you consider two things. You considered the boundaries of the district, which was the entire county, because we had all the city resolutions. And you considered whether the county as a whole would be benefited by the formation of the district. That's the findings that you have
Today.
that address the criteria, the economic, demographic, social factors.
Thank you.
So can I make my
Sure.
comment too? I just wanted to say I scanned through the findings and conclusions, and I thought they were very nicely put together. Appreciated. I could pick out the different testimonies that we received at the hearing, and they're organized very well in this. So whoever put this together did a great job.
No Olson in our office working
Very
on
good.
this.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, then I think we're ready for a motion, unless you have any other questions.
Okay, so, Mr. Chair, I would move approval of the order adopting findings and setting the final public hearing for November 12th, 2014 for the formation of a Marion County Extension and 4-H Service District.
Second.
All right, it's moved and seconded to adopt the findings, set the final hearing for November 12, 2014 for the formation of Marion County Extension and 4-H Service District. Any further discussion? And I don't hear anything. All in favor, then say aye.
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 Aye, the motion passes. All right,
Great,
thank-
and staff will work to make sure that this gets public noticed in the paper and other locations as required.
All right, thank you, Tammy. The next item, action item, is under the tax collector. Consider approval of an order advancing taxes for certain taxing districts for the year 2014-15. And Rex Weisner's here.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I am Rex Wiesner, Tax Collector for Marion County. Before you today is a proposed order authorizing Marion County to advance taxes levied to small taxing districts.
Excuse me, Rex,
revised-
I'm not hearing you real well. Would you pull that up a little closer?
You bet. I'll start over.
There you go.
Okay. Before you today is a proposed order authorizing Marion County to advance taxes levied to small taxing districts and revise the distribution schedule so that all advanced taxes for those small districts will then be allocated to Marion County. The board's authorization for this is found in ORS 311-392, which states, in a nutshell, that if the county court deems it more economical to advance the funds to those municipalities, it may do so and add the distribution percentages for those districts to Marion County's percentage for that tax year. It is my opinion that it is far more economical to do that, and it's good both for the small districts and for Marion County. There are 306 small districts on this year's list, most of which are lighting districts. If Marion County does not advance those taxes to those districts, then the tax office, the assessor's office, finance department need to set up 306 more fund numbers and project numbers, and then with each distribution for the next, until we're done collecting all the tax for the year, distribute that to 306 districts. Of course, the small districts, of course, would benefit from getting their money up front in one lump sum instead of just ridiculously tiny amounts over that time period. If the advanced taxes are paid to these districts prior to December 1st, Marion County will deduct a 3% discount offered for early payment from the amount paid to these districts. By late November, the tax collectors already, or the tax office, already collected over 80% of the taxes, so this is not a hardship on Marion County to advance those funds. Presently, there are 143 larger districts that Marion County is scheduled to distribute to on a monthly basis throughout the year. Adding those 306 smaller ones would then triple the workload for the tax office, finance, and the treasurer, again, for each distribution that's done after that. With that, I do ask the board to authorize the advance payment for these districts. And do you have any questions?
All right, questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just find it amazing on some of these small amounts and these little districts that you'd have to keep track of, or you still have to keep track of it, but by paying in advance.
Right.
$387 for the whole year.
Right.
In one taxing
Yeah,
district.
so they could end up with distribution amounts in our slower months of $1 or $2.
I'm ready to move it.
Excuse
Because
me.
I'm hanging on to this list for our East Salem work session.
That'd
we're
be a
gonna
good
have in
idea.
December.
Rex, these numbers don't seem like they're a static number. There'd be some adjustments each year. Do you catch up
There
prior
is.
years at this time, or if there's uncollected taxes, refunds, adjustments? How do you deal
No,
with those?
it's not refunds, it's whatever the districts submit in their budgets, and they can fluctuate a little bit. We've always limited this to $5,000. However, Mr. Latimer one year agreed that for ones that we'd been on the buyout list for years, and then maybe it just slipped above 5,000, that we were able to keep those on there so we don't end up having something go off and on. So that was very helpful. But normally it is within a range, right around this number. It's just not exactly like you said, though it changes every year.
Okay. Anything else? Then if you would.
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of an order advancing taxes for certain taxing districts for the year 2014-15 as presented to us.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's moved in second to approve the order advancing taxes for certain taxing districts. Any further discussion? Don't hear anything. All in favor, then say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Thank you, Rex. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming in.
Commissioners.
That is all the action items we have this morning. There's no public hearing. The last thing to do then is to read those places we'll be together in the coming week. It's just a little over a page. I found out last week I can only read one page. This already happened. You had a Marion County Chief of Police meeting at McNary Golf Course, and then our board session started at 9 o'clock. At noon today, SEDCOR Forum location is the Broadway Commons, second floor, 1300 Broadway Street Northeast in Salem. That's followed at 3:30 to 5 by Economic Development Advisory Board. That'll be in the Commissioner's Boardroom, 5th floor, 555 Court Street Northeast in Salem. Thursday morning at 7:30 to 9, Kaiser Marion County meeting at Sherry's Restaurant, 4998 River Road North in Kaiser. Just a quick comment. We meet with several cities and actually usually group together, go around the county each month. And this is open to the public, so if you'd like to come and visit, you're certainly welcome. We don't see many people there, but I don't want to make it like you can't come. Then Thursday, 1 o'clock to 6, Family Justice Center conversation. That's at the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association, large conference room, 8565 Southwest Salish Lane, Suite 120 in Wilsonville. Monday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., Association of Oregon Counties Governance Legislative Committee and Board meeting. The location is the Local Government Center, 1201 Court Street Northeast in Salem. Tuesday morning, 7:30, another one of the city meetings we have, a State and Marion County meeting. That's at the Covered Bridge Cafe, 510 North 3rd Street in Stayton. And then Tuesday, 4 to 6, Marion County Public Safety Coordinating Council, Commissioners Boardroom, 5th floor, 555 Court Street Northeast in Salem. And then next Wednesday at 9 o'clock, our next scheduled board session here in the Senator Hearing Room, 1st floor, 555 Court Street Northeast in Salem.
So we're actually having the Public Safety Coordinating Council meeting this month over at the Center for Hope and Safety. So
Okay.
we'll want to make that correction on the
Do
calendar.
you know roughly the address even?
Oh, it's over on the corner of, was it Center and, what's this street that's right here? Is it Church?
Church.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure it's there.
I can tell you, it's,
Yeah.
it's centered. It was just there.
It's got a big sign that says Center for Hope and Safety on it. It's right across from
It's,
Macy's.
605 Center Street Northeast.
All right, thank you. Again, that'll be 4 to 6.
Right.
All right.
Which is very appropriate because this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So.
Well, what does that have to do with 4 to 6? Is that when all the trouble happens?
No, the Center for Hope and Safety is
Oh,
dealing
I
with
see.
domestic violence.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't thought I had to be worried about 4 o'clock from now on. No. All right. Anything else to mention this morning?
No.
You're gonna pass? You're not gonna tell me about your
Just
conversation?
to say now I know why Ellie pounded you.
Yeah. Let's talk about this conversation just a little bit.
All right.
What's that about?
Well, it is also about domestic violence. And Clackamas County has created a family justice center where it's sort of a one-stop shop for people who are experiencing problems, can come, can meet with all different agencies, can have a safety plan, can file a restraining order, can testify in a court setting by camera, that type of thing. And there's law enforcement that's there, sheriff's office, as well as nonprofits. And the building is owned by the county. And I think the facilitator, the coordinator is hired as a county employee too, I think. So they have adopted a philosophy. It's not really a model because they said every center around the nation is different, it's unique. But there's a gentleman, and Kevin probably remembers his name, that has written a book that has kind of consulted with them, and he will be in Oregon at this meeting that we're having. And we'll talk to us because the folks from Clackamas County are interested in Marion County kind of joining with them in adopting this philosophy. So that's about as much as I know about it.
Do they have these all over the country, you say? Are there others in
Yeah,
Oregon?
it's like how many, 90?
Casey Gwynn is his name.
Okay.
From San Diego, and he specializes in going around the country and helping people look at it. And I think, just touring the center the other day with Jane Downing, we have a lot of the same things that they have. The facilities even probably more practical, more functional than what Clackamas County has. And I think it's just helping identify and educate others and how we can maybe tweak some things. But he'll be able to, they're going to give us a presentation. They're going to talk about some of their philosophy, and then we'll probably have a chance to share with, because Jane will be there, Commissioner Carlson and myself, and I believe the sheriff
And Walt.
and the DA will be there. So just help bring attention. It's perfect timing for us because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's a huge issue. It just amazes me at how many people are affected by it, and the amount of energy in our criminal justice and our DA,
We got that
our
a
court
week
system.
ago.
Yeah.
So my guess is that there are many, many centers like this around the nation, but in terms of the number that are working with this gentleman, I was surprised nationally it wasn't a huge number. I'm thinking it was around 100, something like that. It wasn't
Right.
like thousands or whatever.
And again,
And I think Clackamas may be the only one in Oregon
That's
that
what I
he's
wanted to
working
ask.
with. Right.
while you're there, I'll be talking forestry with our ONC board. We have another iteration of the Wyden plan to go over. Nothing seems to be moving well. But perhaps we'll get together next week and make a report both ways, or a little after that.
So you need to bring that paper with the 36 cents.
Yeah, well, that's only slightly related, but boy, that isn't very much money, is it?
Right.
I mean, you might as well just say, well, never mind. I think that's what they've done.
Well, it's related in the sense that they've coupled PILT and the forest
Yes.
payments in the past. And I know the forest payments aren't exactly the same as the ONC, but they work together on these issues. And a big part of the, well, number of problems, I mean, the major problem is that because of court cases and environmental policies and conflict that we've had since the 80s, we haven't been able to cut timber on federal lands. And so then that means that counties don't have the resources that they need to provide the services. So then the Secure Rural Schools was providing funding, Secure Rural Schools and Communities, I think, Act, right, provided, again, pennies on the dollar. It wasn't the same as what you would get from cutting timber, but it was some money to backfill what counties were losing, and then that expired. And in the battle at the Congress to try to get any payments at all, it got coupled with PILT. And the reason for that was because, much like in the Oregon legislature, if there's a problem in Harney County, Portland doesn't really care that much because it's somewhere over in the east side and it's not affecting them. But if they get a little bit out of the deal, then they're
Then it
more likely
passes.
to pay attention. So PILT has counties all across the nation, East, Midwest, and West Coast, where Secure Rural Schools, the largest recipient of those funds was Oregon and Northern California. So it kind of just became a localized issue that our delegation would talk about, but others would be less interested in dealing with.
I was looking for it, and there's 1,850 counties in the United States that receive PILT funds. I don't have the breakdown in Oregon. I know it's a lot more important in Eastern Oregon.
Yes.
That's a pretty substantial amount. The only three that in our write-up, again, we get 83,000. Clackamas County's 570,000. Lane 626. Lynn 201. I have to think Polk's a lot more than us, but anyway, the main point I was trying to make is 36 cents on an acre, and if it was privately owned land, it'd be $90. So I don't know what that means, but we need more privately owned. Anyway, anything else this morning? Then let's call this meeting adjourned.